Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fan Experience Podcast. We are on episode 15. Thank you for everyone that is coming back and rejoining us, and thank you for all your newcomers. For all the newcomers, we are a podcast for sports fans by sports fans. You don't have to be an athlete to have a story to tell. Life, with us being sports fans, life revolves around our favorite sports, and there are just those iconic moments where you get hooked on your team, you experience something at the ballpark or watching with friends, whether it's a comeback Super Bowl win like the Chiefs had last year, and obviously the Patriots with an iconic comeback against the Falcons a couple years ago. Like those types of memories, they stick with you, and us as sports fans, like we know what they mean. Versus what non-sports fans, they just don't know. So we want to hear like what was that fan experience like for you? Whatever it was, even if it was just catching a foul ball. So as always, this show is produced by Playing the Field. Playing the Field is a sports fan community, and we're trying to build a platform that pretty much unites all sports fans with the world's best unifier. We have this podcast. We also have a dating app / connecting app available right now at playthefielddating.com. Please go check it out. It's unlike any other app. You have 100% sports fans, and everyone's profile is in the shape of a trading card. So please go on there, sign up. We are in the beta stage, so everything is 100% free right now. So please sign up, send us your feedback, let us know what you like, what you don't like, any features that you want added. Please just let us know at info@playingthefield.io. Please just sign up. And right now, since NFL season is coming back, we're going to be talking a lot about the NFL season tonight. But we are starting a weekly pick'em contest, and it is free to enter. 18 and over only, of course, with the gambling. But the premise is you can go on there. You could pick all the games, whoever you think is going to win based on the spread. We will be putting up updates tomorrow regarding what you have to do, but I'm going to tell you right now, just take a screenshot of the podcast right now, tweet it to us at @thefanspod on Twitter, and then hashtag fan experience, and put a little something about what you like about the show, what you want to see. And we are also going to be doing a fantasy football, 5 minutes of Q&A. So if you have any questions, whether it starts sit, the season starts on Thursday, so please get them in there now, and then after our interview with our guest, we will attack that and also go over a couple of the games, marquee games happening this week 1 of the NFL season. So right now, I'm going to pass it on to my co-host Rick, and let's get rolling and talking about a little bit of the NFL season.
Well, Mike, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for the intro. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. First of all, I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. And yesterday, just a shout out to our team out there, pounding pitches out there at the East Islip Marina. Spent some time with them yesterday watching them play, and they clobbered their competition last night. So big shout out to them for their performance. So kudos to them, and hopefully they take the championship home. It's finally here, man. I mean, the season is here. We've been waiting since February 3rd, since Kansas City hoisted that trophy. We've been waiting, now 7 months for the NFL season, and we're literally about 48 hours away with the Texans and Chiefs, and a lot of interesting storylines. I mean, you saw the news that just broke that Von Miller looks like he might be out for the season because he broke his ankle. So that's a big blow to the Denver Broncos. And then the questions are out there. Will Kansas City be able to repeat? Can San Francisco have they recovered from that just breakdown in the fourth quarter, and can they come back and make a run and get to a Super Bowl? Is Dak Prescott going to be able to prove his worth and see if he gets a big contract, has a big year? Can the Denver Broncos, with that young team, that nucleus out there of Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy and all them out there, Cortland Sutton, as you were saying, Noah Fant, I mean, can they make a run out there? And so many interesting storylines, so much drama. Aaron Rodgers out there in Green Bay. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see. But I think the question is, I think going into this season, a couple of things. Is Lamar Jackson, obviously, was the MVP. Will he repeat his MVP last year? Can he build on his performance last year? And then when he takes it, can he take it to another level in the playoffs? He's been 2 years in a row now that he's been knocked out of the playoffs. If and when Baltimore gets there, will he be able to get him over the hump? Will Patrick Mahomes repeat his tremendous performance of last year? And we shall see. Can Jimmy Garoppolo lead the San Francisco 49ers to a championship? We don't know that yet. And then, of course, the big story down in Tampa, Tom Brady. Can TB12, can the GOAT take that team down there now that everybody's going down there? Leonard Fournette, and you got Gronkowski down there, and you got all these guys who are going down there to sign down there with Arians down there. Can they put it together in the NFC South, take on, the New Orleans Saints, topple them, and, win a Super Bowl? So there are a lot of questions, a lot of drama, and I'm looking forward to it. For the locals, the Giants, I guess, with Joe Judge developing the team, developing the season, and we'll see how that goes. And with the Jets, obviously, this is a big year for Sam Darnold, man. I mean, I know he doesn't really have a lot of weapons, with Mims and Perriman, but he's got to be able to step up and show Joe Douglas and that staff that, hey, he's the future of the franchise. A year from now when his contract comes up, he's worthy of a big contract, and he can lead you to a championship in the years to come. So a lot of storylines, and I can't wait till we kick this thing off Thursday night, man. I am pumped. Sunday, 1 o'clock to watch all those games, place a couple of bets. I'm jacked, man. So I can't wait to get this thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing that, that really resonates with me, PJ, I'll get to your question in a second. But, it's just a sense of normalcy, just a little bit, because this is the first sport that's like starting when it's supposed to. Yes, the preseason was scrapped, but let's be real, nobody really watched it. Mm-hmm. But, PJ just asked, is there going to be more or less injuries without the preseason? You have to imagine that the injuries are going to happen. Now that they've barely been tackling. So, of course, the injuries are going to happen. Let's just hope that there's not that many. And let's obviously hope for COVID to be, kind of laying low. But, we'll have to see as the season goes along. But we are starting in the beginning of September, just as NFL season is supposed to, and so that right there is just that little bit of normalcy, that little bit of hope that we're like on that right path to getting back to where sports was before all the COVID stuff happened. So that's what I'm excited for.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a lot of great storylines as you mentioned. Who's going to get fired? There's going to be a lot of coaches on the hot seat.
A lot on the hot seat. One in particular down in Florham Park, but
Yeah, well, that guy shouldn't be on the seat to begin with. But let's just. I've said that plenty of times. Yeah. But I can tell you one person that's not going to be on the hot seat. It's Bill Belichick. No matter what, like this guy, now let's see what he can do with Cam Newton.
Right.
Obviously, Tom Brady was getting old. So how much of the team was Tom Brady? How much of the team was the defense and, the coaching of Bill Belichick? Obviously, a lot had to do with Bill Belichick's coaching. But let's see what Cam can do. Is he going to be able to throw the ball? I mean, obviously he's a season removed from, a lot of injuries. But he is a talented football player. So, I'm sure he can do something. I don't see them. What did we say they were winning? 6 games, 7 games?
7 games, something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out. They did lose a lot of pieces on defense because of the opt-outs, the voluntary opt-outs due to COVID, and also a couple pieces on offense as well. But, Cam Newton and Julian Edelman are like, besties on social media right now. So let's see how that rapport builds up. And Julian Edelman wants to pretty much take that mantle and be the guy up in New England now that Brady is gone. So, we'll and he's also a quarterback too. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, let's see. Week 1. Let's see how it plays out. So definitely we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Our guest is backstage. I'm not sure if he is ready. Darrell, okay, perfect. Yeah. All right, right now we're going to be bringing on our guest. We will continue some more NFL talk after the interview and during the interview as well. But right now joining us is Darrell Taylor, and he is the director of youth football for the Cleveland Browns.
How you guys doing?
How you doing,
well, Darrell? How you doing, man?
Darrell or Darrell? What is it?
Darrell.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's 30 ways to spell it, so I'm Darrell.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure having you on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. So before we get into what you do and around youth football, let's start at the beginning. Like, when did you get into sports? Like, what was that driving force in you picking up sports? I see you played a whole bunch: football, basketball, baseball, track and field. So tell us about go back to the beginning.
Yeah, so when I was 5 years old, I remember being in Fort Lauderdale. My grandfather lived in Fort Lauderdale. I'm from Vero Beach, Sebastian area in Florida, so the old Dodger town. And I would go with my grandfather every summer. And I vividly remember standing in a fence and seeing kids play football. I never heard of the sport, never saw the sport. My dad was a baseball player, never played football at all. And I saw the sport, and I said, what is that, and how can I be involved? And from there, the juices flowed. I came back to Sebastian, and I asked my mom, can I play? Can I play that game? And started at 5 years old and played all the way through college. And then basketball, track, baseball, etc. It was just fun. It was an opportunity to enjoy classmates, teammates, friends, all of my best friends now. The majority of the ones who were in my wedding, I played high school football with. So it was just an opportunity just to explore different avenues of sport. Fell in love with sport and everything that it has to offer, from life skills to just friendships and relationships. So sport is very important to me as well as my family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously that's really what the show is all about. Pretty much that community that sports brings together. Like you said, your teammates were at your wedding, and that's just, you're not the only one,
Right.
I mean, myself and Rick, like, we met 10 years ago, just on a whim at a Met game. And now we're sitting there, we played on the same fantasy football league for 10 years. And now we're hosting a podcast together, cause we bonded over sports. So it's a great unifying, force, in the world. And it's great. And we want to make sure people can connect through it. So talk to us about like your playing career. You said that you played in Fordham.
Yeah. So I actually only played 1 year at Fordham University. My freshman year, I think I had 3 touchdowns. It's one of the only freshmen to play my freshman year, so I was pretty excited. My career ended pretty early there, and then just injuries kind of derailed me from continuing to play football. So whether it was soft tissue injuries or what have you, but it still gave me that avenue to get a college scholarship, to get your college tuition paid for, and also just to continue to build bond with friends. So it was a great opportunity. I wouldn't take it back. I enjoyed my 1 year playing, but I ended up finishing at University of Central Florida, and that's kind of what got me to where I am today, is the career path that I chose from UCF. But ultimately it was still being around the game, football or sports in general.
Darrell, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. So tell us about that. Like, so is it at UCF? That's where you started building your passion for youth sports. Would it be where it kind of started for you?
Yeah. So as a senior, sometimes you're just trying to fill up the credits, right? So you take the 1 and 2 credit classes that you can volunteer at a nonprofit organization. And I had a friend who played high school football as well, and he worked at the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida. And I was like, I know somebody, I can just work with kids. I always like kids, and I started volunteering. And when I started volunteering, 2 weeks later, I got a full-time job there. And my passion has grown ever since. Just to be able to speak life into a child, to give them hope, give them expectation, give them a future, talk about the different things that you've experienced in life, and try to make the trajectory of their life different than what they think as well. So it was just an opportunity for me, and I fell in love with it. And as a senior in high school, I got a full-time job there as a program director, and from there I just finished my degree and continue in the path of youth development.
That's incredible. And then let me ask you, so that after school you stayed in Florida, and then you went from there to the Cleveland Browns. Is that how it happened?
Yeah, so I did Boys and Girls Club for about 6 years.
Okay.
I kind of grew through the Boys and Girls Club, had different roles, kind of rose through the ranks, so to speak. And then from there, I left and went to Special Olympics, Florida. That was probably the most rewarding job that I've ever had, just having the opportunity to build inclusion through sport. Everything was still through sport. And then after a year and a half of Special Olympics and being able to accomplish some of the things that I was able to accomplish there, I got an opportunity with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just working in Special Olympics, I had a yearning to want to work with football and continue in youth development. And they had a brand new job opportunity called football development. So it was character education and youth football development. And I was like, it's calling my name. And so I went in there. I put together a 20-page proposal of what I would do. And my mindset, but the thing is, I had a football or a sport mindset. When I went to the interview, I knew people had more experience, more NFL experience, etc. But I had the mindset I was going to compete with whomever, and I wasn't leaving out there without this job. And so I took the sport mentality wherever I go. I want to compete. I want to be the best at it that I can at what I do, and I want to be the best at what I do. And I got the job, and a couple years later, the Browns, they had someone reach out to me and asked, was I interested in the position? It was a position of growth and more opportunity, and I took the position with the Browns. So I've been there for 3 years coming in November.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
I have to commend you, with the career path, because, it's such an important thing in today's society. Is getting these kids involved in sports. Like you said, it builds so many different life skills. You learned it growing up, being on teams. So obviously that played a factor in why you chose the path. And this year, it's a little tricky now because of COVID. I know last time that we spoke, you said you guys were trying to think of some innovative ways to keep these kids active, keep these kids still learning, and if you could fill us in a little bit on what you guys got planned this year with the COVID stipulation going on.
Yeah, so first and foremost, we launched a new program called Junior Browns Next. It's still in its infancy stages, but the goal is to partner with youth football leagues across Northeast Ohio and giving them the tools that they need in order to grow youth football within Northeast Ohio. And soon we are launching a challenge series featuring Cleveland Browns players that kids will be able to do those specific drills and challenges that the Cleveland Browns players doing. So the goal is to get kids or keep kids active despite the COVID-19. Some kids are unable to play, but we want them to have the opportunity to play and connect with their favorite team, which is the Cleveland Browns. So it's just finding creative ways to keep kids active, engaged, as well as hunger and thirsting for the game of football. So, although we're, professional football team, the overarching goal is to keep kids active and playing multiple sports. And so we do believe in kids playing multiple sports, whether that's football, baseball, basketball, soccer, golf, hockey, just staying active, because you can learn so much from sport. Football is of course my favorite, but at the end of the day, my own kids, play football, he plays basketball, track, he's even trying lacrosse this weekend. So I just think it's important for kids to try sport and understanding the value of friendship, relationships, integrity, teamwork, honesty, being coachable. You know what I mean? And being coachable is something that'll apply to. I was telling my daughter, I was like, if you're coachable now, and some things that your coach will say to you that you may not like or you may not agree with. But I said that's the same thing that'll happen when you get your first job. Your supervisor may say some things or have you do some things that you disagree with or don't like, but this is the preparation for life, so that you can take care of your family.
I love it because
I'm glad you said that, man, because that is the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a girl dad myself, and I got two. One's younger, so she's not in the sports age yet, but the older one, she plays softball, and you could see the difference. From when she started playing. It's just especially that that team first mentality. You're not above the team. You're all part of the same team. You live and die by with each other, and that coachable. That's huge. I love how you said that, because that there's so much that you can learn out of that you carry with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, and you're definitely in the right career path, because you're definitely very well versed in all the effects that youth sports has.
Yeah, I've tried to run away from it, but it's when you're destined for something, it's just like a relationship. When something's destined, it's just going to happen. You know what I mean? God's just going to put some things together, and it's just going to be natural. And youth sports and the development of the character of the athlete is what's my passion more than anything, is using the sport as a mechanism to develop life skills. And that's the thing I'm most passionate about, is what sport allows you to do. Not necessarily because, 1% of less than 3% of people who play youth sports or high school, college even, play professional sports. But what do these things allow you to do in life? What do they prepare you for life? Because my role is to prepare the next generation. And that's how I look at it. I look at a holistic development of a child, and you utilize sport, the practicing hard. You guys have to study for your podcast, but you have to study, you have to know your notes, you have to understand the background. I heard you talking earlier about the NFL, and you were referencing different teams and the depth charts and injuries and so on and so forth. But you had to study, you know what I mean? And you had to work hard. You can't just get on the podcast and just start talking, or your viewership will go down. So it just shows you the different things that you'll always have to do all your life, your entire life, that you take for granted as a child. But these are some of the tools and mechanisms that'll help you grow and develop as a mature young adult.
Yeah, Darrell, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're so right about sports. It teaches that camaraderie, that trust, that bond, that sort of, getting, what you're doing is developing these kids to get this confidence. So when they get out in the real world, that they feel that they can accomplish anything. But I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of talk about football with young kids playing football and the dangers, obviously, with concussions. Do you get some resistance from parents? Like, because football is I think football is the ultimate team sport. I mean, if there's one sport you want your kids to play, is that. But do you feel that there's resistance, with letting young kids play the game of football, with all that's going on out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And the key to me personally is it's a parent's choice. It's like we provide the opportunity, we provide the tools, as I mentioned with Gene Brown's Next, we provide the tools, the mechanism, the safety protocols, everything that you need in order to make a sound decision for the best situation for your child. Say, for example, if your child is not of the appropriate age or weight or etc., you may want to hold him or her out until they're older to be able to play the game. But I think USA Football has done a phenomenal job of building the football development model, and they've replicated or duplicated some of the things that you've seen in other sports. Like for baseball, for example, you start with T-ball, coach pitch, and then you have kid pitch. And now it's flag football. There's abbreviated football called rookie tackle, and then there's the 11-man. And so the Browns have adopted the football development model, and we've continued to push this message of allowing kids to make a choice. If you want to play flag, you want to play rookie tackle, or you want to play 11 aside, it allows parents to have the flexibility to say, my kid is 5 years, my kid is in the 5th grade, I want him to continue to play flag, and then wait until 7th, 8th grade to play tackle. So I definitely think it's a parent's choice, because if you have multiple kids, one may be ready, one may not be ready. Right. And it's definitely, you want to, and our goal is to educate. More than anything, we want to educate, give you the tools, the options, and the education so that you can make the best decision for your child and your family.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, I think that's great. I think obviously the choice is up to the parents. But I still think, like, if I had a child, I'd let him play football, man. I mean, it's just, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, he can learn so much. That's just incredible. Now, for kids who, in Northeast Ohio, where you're at, I mean, for them to join some of these clinics could be a little tough. I mean, do they have to be playing on a team to just visit a clinic? Do the parents have to, or do the parents can just sign them up? I mean, how does it work if, like, I had a young child who wanted to be involved in one of your programs?
So we have total open registration for our programs. As I'll mention again, the Junior Browns next, we have a league sign up, and we also have an individual sign up, and that's for those individuals who play or do not play. Okay. We want to be all inclusive, and our camps and clinics are open to boys, girls. If you play, if you don't play, if you've been playing for 5 years, or if this is your first time. We oftentimes in the summer we get a message from parents. My child didn't want to play, fell out of love with the game, wanted to try the game, and they come to one of our camps and clinics, and it gives them motivation to want to play with their local league. So, and that's what we want to offer. We want to offer fun, because at the end of the day, the research says the majority of kids quit playing sports in general because they don't have fun. So we want to offer fun as well as opportunity for all kids to be able to explore and try it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there.
You get a test, yeah.
Yeah. I have to, sometimes I got to pull my daughter's leg to go back out there and be like, just because you lost a couple of games doesn't mean, doesn't mean you just give up. I mean, because that's obviously one of the main things that they have to learn. It's not all about winning. It's about just trying your hardest, giving it your all. So obviously there's other leagues that children could join. So being sponsored with with the Browns, like how much do the players get involved in these clinics and just get involved with all the kids?
Yeah. So for the past maybe 10 years, we've had members of the rookie class. So if you're drafted in April, typically the entire rookie class will attend the first 2 weeks of our summer camps, and they'll spend time with the kids, take pictures, throw football, just run around and play. Majority of the athletes want to spend time with kids because they see themselves in the kids. It's typically genuine. We know dealing with kids, there's a genuine nature. There is nothing that I want out of you. I just want to spend time with you. And so I think players, athletes, even adults, we understand the genuineness behind the kids and the pure nature that they have. And so it's relatively easy to get players to want to give back to kids because they can see themselves in those kids. And kids are cool. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
They're definitely cool. Sometimes they can be a handful.
It's true.
But it's amazing just watching, looking at the world through kids' eyes is the best. And like you said, the rookies, they were kids and probably not that long before that,
Yeah, they were kids. They're still kids. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like a 10, 15-year veteran, so they're right there. Like a couple years before, they were still playing in high school, so they could definitely compare with what the kids are going through. So let me ask you something real quick. So you mentioned the flag football and the kids playing flag football. So you said that your favorite fan experience was scoring 52 touchdowns in one season in flag football. What were you? Wide receiver, running back?
I was running back that year. So that was right when I came back from Fort Lauderdale. It was fun. It was
52 touchdowns fun. Yeah.
A lot of fun. I was athletic back then. And coach would give me the ball. And so it was, run wide left or wide right and try to get around. And my brother and I, so my oldest brother, we just had a competition of how many touchdowns we could get. We put a star by it. So we just started competing. So I was competing since I was 5 and wanting to be the best. And it was a lot of fun. We counted the touchdowns and, I fell in love with the game. So it was all I wanted to do. And, I wanted the ball and have fun. So I think that was kind of a motivating factor for me to keep playing. So
yeah.
You see any kids when you're doing your thing? Anyone that you can relate with, and anyone that's pretty much taken up that mantle that you used to have?
Yeah, man, it's some gifted kids out here. This past year, we did a combine for 7th through 12th grade. And we had an 8th grade kid from a local city called Solon. This kid ran I think he ran the fastest 40, and he was in 8th grade. And it was unbelievable. He had to be about 6 foot tall. And it was, wow. I was like, what are they feeding these kids nowadays? This kid was phenomenal. And then we had another, because we do the bench press at our combine, just similar to, we had a kid who was 175, bench press 225 like 22 times. And it was like how,
Yeah.
How?
I can't even bench press 135. I mean,
there's some freakish talented kids around here.
Yeah. Darrell, let me ask you. So when you guys find the kid in like your program like that, like do you guys develop them? Are there like education paths they can get within their high school, get into a good college, like get them into a Division I? Like, do you guys sort of develop that path for that young child? I mean, because obviously a talent like that, you want them to go all the way, right?
Yeah. So we have close relationships with high school coaches, and that's one of the things that we find, that youth and high school connection is a indicator of a great program. And so the premier programs in Northeast Ohio, they all have a feeder program, and those kids, they begin to develop in the early ages, and they go to these high schools, and there's always scouts and colleges, et cetera, that come in contact with these guys. And we just try to put them in the best position possible in order to be successful. And we follow them along their career and make sure that we can do anything to help them reach their ultimate goal. And another thing I forgot to mention earlier, we're launching this year is Cleveland Browns careers. So we're giving an inside look at various careers that you can have in professional sports, and we're sharing that information with high school students as well as middle school students outside of playing the game. We have females in scouting, we have there's lawyers, there's doctors, there's accountants, we have a manager of security. So there's so many different engineers, etc. There's so many different careers and opportunity to be around sport without just playing the game. So we're excited to offer this opportunity for kids to see another side of professional sports. So it's not just playing on the field, but there's something bigger.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Because I know, you have so many kids who they can't play the game, but they want to find a way to get into the game, whether it's ticket sales or whether it's like on the grounds crew. So for a program like that, that's incredible. Let me ask you this. as far as like Cleveland goes, do you guys partner with, let's say, other teams and other sort of sports for like youth programs, whether it be the Cleveland Indians or the Cavaliers, let's say, or like, do you guys work in conjunction to help kids like get into sort of different lines of avenues of work within the sports industry?
So we have not worked, I guess, as a unit, from team to team, working together to help the kids. But we do have great relationships with the Indians. A guy named Matt Cater. He does a phenomenal job with baseball development, and then we also have a great relationship with the Cleveland Cavaliers from a youth sports perspective. So even when I came to Cleveland, those are two of the people that I sat down with and understand the landscape of Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, etc. So I have great relationships with those guys, and we do it from a personal connection and not necessarily from an organizational standpoint. Yeah, because Scott McDonald over at the Cavs, he's done a phenomenal job. So we collaborate, we talk about it. There's no competition amongst us. We just want the best for our kids, and funny because Scott with the Cavs, he coaches his son's youth football team, and I coach my son's youth basketball team. So we believe in kids, having fun and playing sports.
That's incredible. That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. So out of like the current players, like who do who's like the most involved with the programs?
I would say as of last year, I would say Jarvis Landry. He won the 2019 Cleveland Browns Man of the Year. That shows the commitment to not only the football field but to the community. He does a lot within the community. There's a number of guys that do a lot within the Cleveland community and back in their hometowns as well. From Odell to Baker to Nick Chubb to Mac Wilson and Greedy and Denzel Ward. He's from Northeast Ohio. He has a foundation. So there's so many guys that give back. Joel Batonio, and I can just go on and on and on. That guys that give back, but the first one comes to mind is Jarvis, who won the 2019 Man of the Year award, which is a prestigious award for any NFL player to win. To be voted upon because you had the you gave back to your community and you performed well on the field.
Yeah, you were talking about there's so many different things that you can do in sports. I was actually looking at the Cleveland Browns website today, obviously having you on research, like you said. I felt like the list of jobs, I kept scrolling. I couldn't even get to the end of it. But I saw, Jim Brown is a special advisor. You have any kind of relationship with Jim?
I've met Jim a couple times. To be honest, I try to be respectful to Jim, so not necessarily a personal relationship, but I've shook his hand and spoke to him a couple times and just try to be professional because I almost see myself as a colleague and not try to fanboy. But if there was one Brown that I ever want to meet, it would be Jim Brown. So it was definitely a pleasure to meet him, to shake his hand. His hands are like this, He's incredible. It's just an incredible figure in professional sports for what he did for social justice and what he did, in LA and film, football and lacrosse and going to Syracuse University and retiring early. And he's just a phenomenal guy. That's someone I've looked up to before I even became a Brown.
That's incredible. Darrell, I want to ask you, you're running this program, right? You got big ambitions. I mean, you're energetic and you're so passionate about this. What I know you've only been in the role, you've been in the role for some time, but what, as the future goes on, what do you see yourself doing next with youth sports? Would you like to run like a big organization within the NFL, maybe do something different with maybe like, again, the Olympics or something like that? Like, where do you see yourself going in the next few years?
That's a great question. I really don't know. I don't know. This is definitely part of my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I definitely want to grow within it, and I want to focus. I think my next venture probably is focusing more on the character side than on the football side, because I like to develop people.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into it. I love the sport. I think it's a nugget. I think it's a way to attract people to give them the information, to give them the news. But most importantly, I want to prepare people for life, from financial education to academics to ACT, SAT. What is college life like? Just life skills that they'll need to, especially young men. How what's life like? Credit score and so on and so forth. So I really want to develop young men. So that's probably where I'll be geared to. But I don't know if I don't even know if it exists. To be honest, I've only had one position where it was not a brand new position in my entire life. So,
Wow.
My life is just like I didn't know Boys and Girls Club position. It became a brand new position. Special Olympics was brand new. Tampa was first time ever. Every position except for this one that I'm in now was the first time. So, we'll see what door God opens for me. But in the meantime, I'm gonna do the best I can, making sure I'm making the impact right here in Cleveland. So we'll see what happens next.
It's great. I'm glad you said that, because I feel like there's, when you talk about financial literature and just knowing how to maybe negotiate, like things they don't teach in everyday school. Yeah. Like, I think you need to teach that to kids these days, because the world is so much different than like when I grew up or like when Mike was growing up. So I think that's great, man. And I applaud you for that. I think you can excel in whatever it is you do. So kudos to you, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're doing amazing things for sure. Keep it up. We're running against the clock, but I want to, we're going to do the NFL preview, after we get off with you. But, what are you looking at with the Brown season? How you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. Sunday on the road, 1:00 Eastern time. Browns, Ravens. It's a tough team. Ravens.
Oh yeah.
Ravens. 14-2. The last game they lost was against the Browns, Week 4 of last year. We split the season series the last 2 years, but the Ravens, they're the team to beat in the AFC, except for Kansas City. So it'll be a tough task. It'll be a tall task, with no offseason, a brand new head coach, new offense, new left tackle, and then you're going against Calais Campbell and some of those big boys on the Ravens defense, and their offense is, you got the reigning MVP, and then he's gotten better, and then he has weapons with Hollywood Brown and tight end, and they drafted J.K. Dobbins, and it's going to be a tough task, but I think it'll be fun to watch, and I'm excited to see from just watching, the Browns in training camp and the weapons that they brought in as well. I think it'll be a competitive division with the Steelers, because Big Ben back and Juju's back healthy, and James Conner and they'll be back, and Joe Burrow, and he's a winner. And I don't think he's going to stand for losing too long. And I think they got a nice mix as well, with Joe Mixon and AJ Green back this year, and Joe Williams is back at left tackle. They didn't have him the entire rookie year, so they'll be good as well. So it'll be fun.
Quick, I just want to, and Coach Stefanski, Kevin Stefanski, obviously he's the first-year coach. Tell us a little bit about him. Have you had a chance to interact with him, meet him? What's he like in the building?
So I got a chance. So we created a youth football leadership council, a group of about 30 individuals throughout Northeast Ohio, to kind of give us advice and help us to create programming and relationships with youth football. And Coach Stefanski came in and introduced himself to every one of the coaches, took pictures with them all, signed autographs, spoke to each one of them, talked about personal experience and how coaches, youth football coaches, made an impact on his life, and how he still has a relationship with his high school coach. and he gave them words of encouragement and letting them know that their volunteerism and the efforts that they put in are not in vain. And he's been very, very giving for the youth football department, just in general. A very, very smart guy. I think he has a plan. Everything that I've seen from the outside looking in, he's been on point, and he has a plan of attack. So I think he'll be strategic. I think he'll do what the Browns are good at for the first few weeks, and I think they'll grow and they'll get better together.
Well, Darrell, I mean, me and Mike are Jets fans, but I'm gonna be rooting for you, man. I'm gonna be pulling pretty hard.
We'll be in New York back-to-back weeks this year.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. With no fans. It'll be
with no fans. Yeah.
If you're in New York.
Are you guys having fans?
Yeah, we're allowed to have 6,000 fans for the first two games. So we'll have 1,500 per quadrant for the first two games. So Thursday night opener, you'll see 6,000 fans, rabid Browns fans.
The dog pound.
The dog pound. It won't be any barking because you have to wear masks.
So what do they got? The week two? Week 2 is their home opener?
Yeah, Thursday night football. Thursday night football versus the Bengals. So Burrow.
Burrow comes to town.
Yeah, Burrow comes to town. The reigning Heisman Trophy winner comes to town, and but it'll be fun. I think I'm just happy there's football, so I can't complain this year at all. So.
We're there with you. And Burrow's from Ohio, right? He's from
Athens, Ohio. Dad was a coach at Ohio University, so he was born and raised there, and he's not too far at Cincinnati now. So I think he's going to do great things. He seems like a great young man, very humble, hardworking. Just from the outside looking in, he just seems like a great guy, and so I'm rooting for him as well. And once you get in this industry, you root for everybody. You want everybody to be successful, except for when they play your team.
Of course, yeah, of course. I ventured over to Ohio once. Had to go there to do something, and I was just outside of Cleveland, and it's just amazing, that sports feel. Everyone is for their teams, and Ohio State, the Browns, the Bengals, like it's so they're so passionate over there, and it was just awesome to see.
Yeah. It's a fun place to be. Cleveland loved their sports. They love their hometown team, so it'll be fun. The dog pound on Lake Erie will be it'll be cold, but it'll be
and windy. Yeah.
And that wind cuts different, and so it'll be fun though. I'm excited to see some football and see how the season evolves and how the players take care of themselves. Making sure that they're in this bubble themselves. Even in their personal lives. So it'll be interesting, and I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Well, listen,
we're right there with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight. You'll be in New York if you want to catch up with me and Mike. Our pleasure, man. Whatever it is you want to hang out and do.
Absolutely, I'll definitely hit you guys up when I'm in New York. I was there last year for New Year's, so we go the last 3 years. We've been 2 years. We've been in New York, so I'll definitely hit you up next time I'm in New York.
100%. We look forward to it.
Likewise, if we end up in Ohio, we're going to take this show on the road.
Yeah, we're taking it on the road, so we'll be down there.
We'll definitely give you a call for sure.
Come on down. You always have a place right here, baby.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you again for coming on. It was a pleasure. Good luck to you, with what you got going on with the youth football, and good luck to the Cleveland Browns this year.
Keep up the work up there, man. Keep it going.
Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you on this podcast. Appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a great rest of the night.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
There he is, Darrell Taylor.
Great. Great guy.
A future NFL executive. Right there.
I could see it. I could see it.
See him being at 345 Park running the NFL youth movement over there. I could see that.
Yeah, I didn't want to put this up when he was on. Yes, Lamar Jackson is a little bit of a cheat code. Yes. But
that's a great thing.
The Browns have the players in place, where they can make a run. Let's just see if see what they do this year.
Yeah,
but obviously they got a tough schedule. They got a lot of tough teams in their division.
Yeah.
But let's see.
I didn't want to tell him. What did we pick? How many wins we had him at 6? I didn't want to say anything, but I think we had him at 6.
Yeah,
But listen, man, that work is important work, man, because it's true what he says. Sports is the ultimate uniter. We say it all the time. And for kids, the one thing they don't teach you in schools is about setbacks. They don't teach you about that you're going to have some tough times. And sports teaches you that, man. You get knocked down, you got to get back up.
Yep.
You got to shake it off like, a corner. You got to forget it and worry about the next play. So these programs, for these kids are important because they teach them those life skills that you sometimes don't learn in the classrooms. And the fact that he's also wanting to teach kids about financial education, about, mental health and all that. I think that's great, man. And I think we need more.
Absolutely.
We need more of that. So I think I applaud him, man. That is great work. And, like I said, 345 Park Avenue, the NFL headquarters, there might be a corner office for him waiting for him in a couple of years. So,
yeah, he's a great guy. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's in the right career path, to say the least.
That's a good guy right there.
But it's kind of fitting that we had somebody that worked for the Cleveland Browns on tonight.
Yes,
with NFL kickoff happening this week, everybody.
Dun 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 dun.
Less than 48 hours, and will probably be a one Patrick Mahomes touchdown pass into this NFL season.
No, they'll go down like.
It's like an hour and a half into the game. I don't see them going a first half without a Mahomes touchdown pass. But let's touch on that game. Because that is Thursday night. Let's start with that one. Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. Are they allowed to call it Arrowhead Stadium anymore?
I don't know.
For now, they can.
They can. They call it Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs are favored. They're -9. Texans on the road. Mike, take it away.
So the Texans team is a little bit different than it was last year. Mm-hmm. They couldn't put them away in the playoffs. Kansas City came back. For what were they? Were they 2 touchdowns down, or
they were down? I think they were down 24-0 before they got off.
24 or 20? Okay, 24.
Yeah, I think it was 24.
I thought it was 20 for some reason. Okay,
I thought it was 24-0 before they get off the mat. So
so the Chiefs came back and and ended up making their run for the Super Bowl, and the Texans traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson. Got a couple draft picks. That's a big loss. Nuck is a big loss. They did bring in Brandon Cooks.
They did.
And Randall Cobb. They still have Will Fuller. He's supposed to be the leader of that pack. He is often injured, but this is week 1. 9-point spread at Arrowhead.
Actually, they were down 21-0 in the first quarter.
21? Okay.
It was 21. Okay, so you almost had it there, yeah.
And I just, there's a lot of big differences. Obviously, they got David Johnson. Some can argue that they took a step back in their running game because David Johnson was not all that special towards the second half of last year. They still got a lot of questions there. Bill O'Brien's still the coach there.
Yeah.
The Chiefs pretty much are right where they were. They pretty much retained everybody and extended them at that. Starting with Patrick Mahomes with $500 million. Right. But 9 points is a lot. It's a lot. If I had to choose, if I'm doing a couple of games in a parlay, I'm staying away from this game. But if I had to choose, I would pick the Texans covering the 9.
So here's the thing, man. We all saw that playoff game last year, 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. It was cold. You had 70,000 people in there, and we thought, oh my God, like the Chiefs are going to collapse. And within the span of a quarter, Mahomes throws 4 touchdowns, and they're up.
Right, yeah.
They're up. It's 28-24 at the half. They win that game 51-31. Look, they're coming back. They drafted what's the name? Hilaire, right? Out of
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, that's the one.
Hilaire, Tyreek Hill is still there. I think Sammy Watkins is still there. They still got Travis Kelce there. Listen, as long as they got the cannon back there and Patrick Mahomes, I don't see any way they lose this game. I think they cover. I think they cover easy. I just think that, you're walking into – now, here's the variable. Here is the difference here. You don't have 70,000 screaming fans anymore out there. They might – I don't know if they're going to have like what the Browns are having where they're going to have 6,000 people, but they're not going to be 70,000 screaming people.
Yeah, they're not going to – and that's obviously a big point in playing in Kansas City. And
they're not going to have them raising a banner for a Super Bowl championship, right? They're not going to have all that. So that's a variable in there. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs are just the better team all around. And I think they cover. I think they cover easy. I think Mahomes is going to throw for over 300 yards. They're going to get.
It's not like it's a scrub on the other side.
No, but you know what it is? It's Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson's incredible. He's a great quarterback. But remember, this is a team game, and defensively, J.J. Watt in these big games. When have you ever seen him like take over a game in the fourth quarter? Like when have you ever seen him like just dominate a game in like a late in the game? Like I don't remember seeing that. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen him do something like that. You always wait for him to be like, okay, J.J. Watt is going to get big sacks and he's going to take over the game. And especially in last year's playoffs when they were making that run in the second quarter, like you needed a big defensive stop, a big play, and it never happened. So I don't know how they cover Tyreek Hill and all those guys. I really don't. So look, I think they cover easy, and they get on the scoreboard and they win. They get their first win of the season. And then for the Texans, it's just try to get through this first game and then go from there and win the division. But I think Kansas City is going to win comfortably on Thursday night.
Well, I picked Kansas City to win for sure.
Yeah,
35-28.
Touchdown. Well, listen, obviously Vegas is assuming that 9 points. They might win by.
They made it 9 and not 10.
Right.
That's a big difference there.
I get it.
I don't know. I mean, yes, the Chiefs have a great squad, but 9 points is a lot for week 1, first game of the season. Nobody's been playing,
right?
Practicing, not really too many tackles. It could be a lot more running. And everybody, if you have not drafted your fantasy team yet, number one, you're waiting too long. And but if you haven't, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's the guy. He's gonna have a monster.
Get him in the first round. Just get him.
Yeah.
I got lucky and he fell to me at 10 and I scooped him. So don't let him go and pass you by. He's gonna be a stud. Kareem Hunt 2.0 over there. He's gonna be catching a lot of touchdown passes. So enjoy. So let's move on to another game. What are we hitting up?
The second game we're gonna go over is we're gonna do the locals last, obviously, but the second game we're gonna go over is obviously the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Our friend Darrell Taylor, who we just had as a guest. We're going there. The spread is -8.
Yep, and we're using DraftKings at our where we're getting our spreads, and we will be using these same numbers in our Pick'em contest. We will have all the games listed there. You have to choose every game, choose the winner against the spread, and we'll have a Monday night tiebreaker in points. And the winner will receive $50 and 6-month gold membership to Playing the Field at playthefielddating.com. As soon as it comes out of beta, you'll kick into the paid subscription package. So please tweet out a screenshot of the show. Tell us how you like the show. It's at the Fans Pod and put #FanExperience, and you're entered for a chance. No purchase necessary, no money. It's all you got to do is send out a tweet. So 8 points of a spread. It's in Baltimore. The Browns, 8 points. I feel like 8 points in Baltimore with them being home.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore covers that.
I hate to say this with our friend Darrell who's on the show.
Yeah, I know.
I
think
so. This is what I think. I think it's going to be one of these. I think with Stefanski, I think they're going to try to hold Baker Mayfield back a little bit. They're going to try to hold the reins on him. I think he was way too reckless last year, and I think this year they're going to try to have him a little more under control, a little more disciplined. He's more focused now. I think they're going to rely on the running game a little bit more with Kareem Hunt back there, obviously. I see, but Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, man. I mean, this game can go 1 or 2 games. It can be close, or Baltimore just annihilates them completely. But I don't see that happening. So I'm going to say that this is going to be a closer game than we expect. I don't think they cover the 8.
Again, Lamar Jackson is a cheat code. Okay.
Here we go. This guy. I just think it's going to be. I mean, I know they're going to be. I just think these teams play each other tough. I can't see the Browns just getting smacked around like that. I just, I don't see that happening. Not with Jarvis back there. Not with Odell. He's got weapons.
No, nobody said anything about smacked around.
Let's not forget, Myles Garrett is back.
Baltimore's going to score more points.
Yeah, I get it. Are they going to? I think they win by a touchdown. I don't think they win by 8. I think they win by a touchdown.
If I had to choose, I'm not picking that game. I don't like.
Okay.
I don't like spreads like that.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be. They'll win by a touchdown. I don't think it'll be
Vegas. Vegas knows what they're doing. Let's just say that they know what they're doing.
But yeah, I like the Ravens in this game. I don't think they cover them.
Okay. Well, good old TB12.
TB12, 3.5 at New Orleans
in the dome.
Now, new players, new system, new coach, new environment. First game without Belichick. What happens if something goes horribly wrong, and who's going to make the adjustments? Mike, take it away.
I hate the spread 3.5. I hate that spread.
Vegas, man. They're daring. I mean,
they're daring you to pick the Buccaneers.
Of course, that's what they're doing.
Just now they got Leonard Fournette over there. Bruce Arians says he's going to play a role.
Rojo's their guy.
But they got McCoy there too. They got a nice batch of pass catchers though. Evans, Godwin, Gronk, Howard, Brate.
But there's only one ball, man.
Yeah, and it's being thrown by somebody other than Jameis Winston.
Right.
This time around.
Yeah.
Which means that, if anyone's going to keep it in Tampa Bay's hands, you would think Tampa Bay could do it more than Jameis Winston could.
Yeah.
And you know what? They had the firepower last year with Winston. Just he gave it away too many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it being a close game.
Mm-hmm.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
But I give the edge there to the Saints because it's in the dome.
Right.
I mean, it's a tough task over there, especially it being Brady's first game, an actual game, in full pads with tackling. Yes, Mike Evans and Gronk is a deadly combo. We got a comment.
Yes.
It's gonna be tough, but I still think it could be a field goal game. So I'm gonna pick the Bucs.
You're taking the Bucs and the points.
And the point, yeah. I think the Saints are gonna win this game, but I think it might come down to the wire on a kick.
So I say the Saints win this game. I think they cover. Sean Payton, Drew Brees, they've been together for so many years. You got Michael Thomas. Kamara's working out a contract extension. I think in that dome, that defense as well. The only thing, they're not going to have any noise. So I don't know if they're going to pump in crowd noise. I don't know what they're going to do. They're not going to have that. But I think the first game for Tampa Bay is going to be a sort of feel-out game. They're trying to get to know each other. Brady's still learning an offense. So I'm going to give the edge to the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the points.
All right. One of us is getting rich and one of us isn't.
Yeah. All right. The two locals. We got the.
Well, were you going to hit the Cowboys Rams or no? Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football. Yeah, we can do Cowboys Rams. We can get through it. All right. So the Cowboys Rams.
3 even in Los Angeles.
Wow. Vegas has no faith in the Rams, and they just went to a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think the Rams win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think it's a travel game. There's not going to be anybody in the stands, but
Brandon Cook's out of there, but they still got Cup. They still
Gurley's not playing either.
No, Gurley's with Atlanta. They signed Cam Akers, rookie, and then the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb. But that Rams secondary, I think, could hold down the Cowboys. The Cowboys wide receiver court, a little bit.
You know what?
From it getting out of hand, and they still have good defensive pieces on the Rams. I mean, it's going to be a very competitive game. Honestly, it's probably going to be a shootout. I'd probably take the is the over on here? No, we don't have the over. We just have the
over. Yeah, the spread. Now that you mention it, just thinking this through a little further, it is going to be Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. You got that offensive line that's kind of being rebuilt there a bit. Defense is pretty stout, and the Rams are their defense is good with Aaron Donald over there. Jalen Ramsey. But they're Vegas is saying the Cowboys -3. I want to see how Jared Goff does without those, Gurley and all these weapons, I don't know. Did we pick the Rams to win this game?
I like the Rams, especially with the 3 points.
Oh, yeah, the Rams and the 3 points. You know what? Yeah. I'll take the Rams and the points.
Yeah, I like the Rams, and the over-under is 51.5, and I think it goes over.
Yeah, and Mike McCarthy's first game, so it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah,
but I give the Rams their first win here. Yeah, but Vegas shows them respect at home. But anyway, all right, the locals. We'll start with
what do we go? What do we go with? I mean, we can keep our Jets for last, I guess.
Yeah, we'll keep it just for last. Yeah, we'll go Steelers Giants.
Steelers Giants. What do we got here?
The line is Steelers -5.5 on the road.
-5.5 on the road.
James Conner's back.
James Conner's back. Big Ben is back, and he says his arm feels better than ever.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju, Dante. But the Steelers' defense was, top notch last year.
Yeah, with Minka Fitzpatrick and Watts over there, and
they got a great defense. I just have a problem with 5.5 in MetLife. It's just, do I think they could win by a touchdown? Yeah, I do. Do I think Steelers are going to win? Yes, I do. But 5.5 is it's a good number. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's a good number.
First game, because of the fact that it is the first game, I'm going to tend to lean more on whoever has better defense is going to win, not the better offense. So yeah. I'll give it to the Steelers, and they'll win by 6 or more.
Okay. Here's the thing, man. Joe Judge, first-year coach. Daniel Jones, second year. Saquon, second year. Obviously, they got some weapons coming back. Third year. They got some weapons coming back on the offensive side of the ball with Evan Ingram. But I don't see any. I don't know how the Giants cover them. They don't have any defensive backs. They just signed Logan Ryan, but I just think that defense is still shaky. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, they cut their best quarterback, our friend Chris Angulo. So they shouldn't have done that. But anyway, and they have the most
loss for that. I'm giving a loss just for that.
Yeah, and they have the most underrated coach in the NFL, in Mike Tomlin. That guy, I'm telling you, he wins 10 games every year. He wins 10 games every year, knows how to deal with personalities in the locker room, and he knows how to prepare a team, especially for an opening day start. And so I see Pittsburgh winning comfortably. So I take Pittsburgh in the points.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones might have a couple of turnovers, but I like Pittsburgh.
So
and the points.
So I got Pittsburgh. We agree on that one. So Jets and the Bills.
Last but not least, Jets and Bills. Here we go.
Jets and the Bills playing in New York. So Buffalo. 6.5 points. Buffalo is favored.
Yeah.
I see Buffalo winning this division this year. I don't even know if the Jets know who their running back is. That's my question. Like, who is their running back? Is Adam Gase going to just unleash Frank Gore for 2 yards a carry against a great defense?
Yeah.
Are they going to actually let Le'Veon Bell play and get the carries he's supposed to be getting? Because he's a tremendous talent on that field.
Yeah.
But is Adam Gase's just disgust for him? Well, last week they said they have no problems with each other. But me and you see a little differently.
Oh, 100%
than what they want to say.
Right.
It's just, I think the fact that we have the wrong person leading that team, and the Bills have a great person leading that team.
Yeah,
Sean McDermott. He was
great coach.
He was extended as well. And they added Stephon Diggs. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
They added another running back as well in the draft. Devin Singletary is taking the mantle as the top running back, but they're going to have Zach Moss as well.
Josh Allen,
who's been up and coming for the last few years now. I hate to say it, but I think the Bills cover this easily.
It pains me because as everybody knows who watches this show, I am a diehard beloved Jet fan. I bleed gangrene. A lot of question marks.
Be a realist, though.
I'll be a realist, but a lot of question marks. Is second year of Adam Gase. Sam's development. Obviously, we got Denzel Mims and we got Brashad Perriman on the outside with Crowder. And so we got Chris Herndon coming back. Defensively, we lost C.J. Mosley. We have issues at corner. We did get Bradley McDougall. We have Marcus May playing safety. They said he had his best camp, and we got this kid Ashton Davis. And let's see what Quinn Williams does in his second year. We still don't have a pass rusher to get to the quarterback. That being said, and with all that being said, I think the Jets play this game close. I think Buffalo breaks away at the end, but I think the Jets keep this one close. So I will say I take the Jets plus 6.5 against Buffalo, 1:00 in Orchard Park. That's what I think.
All right.
That is my call.
I mean, I would love to see it happen.
Yeah. Listen, I would love for Sam to throw for over 300 and Denzel Mims get a couple of touchdowns. But the guy hasn't practiced.
He's not playing, is he?
I think Mims is. I think he's playing. I think he's playing. I think he's it. I think he is.
I thought it was like bad that the hamstring.
No, I think he's back doing some workouts. Brashad Perriman, they're taking his knee they're just week to week from what I read. But
Bills are also extending Tre'Davious White.
Yeah.
And that guy's he would cover the number one wide receiver, whoever it may be on Sunday.
Yeah.
And shut them down. But Crowder,
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, the Jets have the pieces. It's really the maestro and the guy behind the curtain there.
Yeah,
that really takes the wind out of the sails with the Jets.
Well, we'll see, man. I mean, let's see how he uses Le'Veon and LaMichael Perine and Frank Gore. I mean, I think he seems like the kind of guy who wants a running back by committee. But Le'Veon is a volume runner, man. You got to give him the ball 20, 25 times, and especially late in games when he can just beat up on a defense. But, Gase is I don't know, man. He's just pass happy sometimes.
That's really we're not going to know anything until we see what Adam Gase, his plan is and how he manages his team.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else that we can do but wait and see there.
Yeah.
All right.
So to recap, we got Kansas City -9. I got them covering.
I put the Texans on that one.
Yeah, I got Jets plus 6.5. You got Buffalo.
I got the Bills winning that one.
Cleveland
I picked the Ravens. You picked Cleveland.
and Baltimore. Cleveland +8. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. What was that? I didn't hear you. You broke up.
I got Tampa Bay +3.5.
I got New Orleans. And then Sunday.
The Rams.
I think we both got the Rams +3.
The Rams with the points, and then I
got the Steelers.
We agreed on
5.5.
Yeah, we agreed on the Steelers.
Yeah. All right. So that's
some other great games on tap. But we're running low on time, so we can't really attack all of them. But please, take a screenshot, shoot it out to Twitter, #FanExperience at the Fans Pod, and we will get you in for the weekly Pick'em contest for your chance to win $50 and a 6-month membership, gold membership for playing the field.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's hit on some news and notes.
News and notes real quick. Novak Djokovic decided to lose his mind at the U.S. Open and hit a ball behind himself and almost took out a lines person at the U.S. Open. And he was defaulted, I guess they call it, and he was disqualified from the tournament. I mean, what do you say? Complete meltdown from that dude. I mean, that just can't happen.
Yeah, no, it's you definitely can't do that. Of course not. But I didn't catch that one.
Sorry about that.
A lot going on this weekend with all these playoffs. I haven't caught any of the U.S. Open. So, well, let's wrap up the NFL just a little bit. A couple of big takeaways. DeAndre Hopkins signs a 2-year extension. He's locked up from the Arizona Cardinals for the next 5 years. Signed 2 years, $54.5 million, and $47 million guaranteed. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, and it's a lot of money, but they think he's worth that, and I don't think he's not worth it, but $47 million guaranteed, it's a lot for something that's a couple of years down the road there.
Yeah, but for a receiver like that, you pay him now because look, in 3 years they're gonna have to pay Kyler Murray a ridiculous amount of money. So you sign DeAndre now, and then just go from there. But no, good for him, man. $47 million guaranteed. Yeah. I mean, that's a good one. We have another the other signing. Speaking of the Cleveland Browns, they signed Kareem Hunt to a 2-year, $13 million extension.
Yep.
So good for him. And then, talking about my sleeper team, the Broncos, Von Miller, possible broken ankle, could miss the season. That's big.
It's a big blow to that team for sure. I mean, they still have a lot of pieces there on that defense, but he's the quarterback of that defense. So
he's heart and soul there, man.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough. I think it's snowing there today. I heard it on the radio.
Yeah, it was like 100 degrees 2 days ago. Now they got like a winter storm warning out there. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. But another pass rusher in pass rusher news, Jadeveon Clowney signs with the Tennessee Titans. So that defense got just a little bit better.
1 year, $15 million.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they could have used them last year. When the Chiefs. When they played the Chiefs, man, if they could have got somebody to Mahomes, who knows what could happen. I think that's what their thinking is. They got to get to the quarterback. Clowney gives them the best chance. So take a 1-year flyer on them and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. We have anything else in the NFL?
Alvin Kamara's working out a contract.
Yes, we mentioned that earlier with the.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's pretty much. Oh, NBA news: Thunder and coach Billy Donovan mutually part ways. Okay, so OKC's looking for a new coach.
Wow. The Heat has clinched the series over the Bucks. Giannis played today. He was hurt. The Heat won on 103-94, and they're moving on.
Now, Giannis is a free agent this year, right? Is that right after the season?
Correct.
This is going to be interesting because what does Milwaukee? I mean, Milwaukee obviously is going to offer him the max money, but is Giannis people are saying he might go to Miami. I wouldn't blame him if he went at all because I don't know that he's going to win in Milwaukee as much as he says he wants to stay or whatever. So it's going to be pretty interesting. But I could see him going. I could see him landing in South Beach, man, and trying to make a run with Jimmy Butler down there.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's certainly feasible that he moves on. The Lakers are in the second quarter right now.
Mm-hmm.
Their series is tied 1-1. That first game, the Rockets took that one easily, and the Lakers looked like they were in trouble, but they took the second one. So all's evened up.
Yeah,
all's evened up there. What did they win the second one? So they only won by 8 points.
Yeah,
lost by almost 20 on the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I mean, it's tough with the bubble. Like, no in-person attendance, there's no home field advantages.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Just watching some of these games. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still sports being played,
right?
So it's great for me and you, but these players, they got to adjust to that. Yeah, the Lakers are down 1 right now in the second quarter, so still plenty of time. The last 5 minutes, last 2 minutes, really that really matter there. NHL news. Sorry to our friend Scotty Wolf. The Lightning pretty much struck lightning against the Islanders. 8-2 they lost. So the Lightning's up 1-0, and the Stars are leading the Golden Knights 1-0 as well. So there's plenty of games to be played over there. MLB news. Let's touch on my Mets for a second. They got on a little bit of a roll for a few days, and Jacob deGrom, the guy that gets no run support, they beat the Phillies the other day 14-1 with Jacob deGrom on the mound. I wish they would have saved some of those runs because then they lost the next night after coming back from 6-0 to take the lead, and then their bullpen blew it. So a couple more extra runs there would have been nice. And last I checked, they were getting shellacked by the Orioles, the Mets. Yeah. But in other news, as far as the Mets, we talked about Cohen. He's in, Steve Cohen. He's in negotiations, and now it's going up for a vote amongst all the other owners. I read that you have to have like 23 owners have to agree to it.
Correct.
And the thing with Steve Cohen, he's got the money. There's no denying that. But there are those little things that in the background, like the insider trading and things of that nature, that some owners might not like him as the owner of the Mets. And J-Lo and A-Rod, they have resurfaced saying like, this whole bid was fixed and this and that, and they have that $2.35 billion that Steve Cohen was going to put up. I think from what I gather, J-Lo threw in a little bit more money, and she's going to be like the head,
the controlling partner
over A-Rod. Well, I guess just over him, but she threw in a little bit more money and got a couple of different backers on. I'm assuming. So they're just waiting to see if Steve Cohen is allowed to buy the team, and they're going to swoop in if nobody says it's okay, and they're going to come back to the party there.
Well, they already started bidding, I think, after August 31st. I mean, look, as much as I know some people out there would like to see A-Rod and J-Lo on the team, at the end of the day, when you look at it from a logical perspective, I mean, he's the guy that has to own the team. He cleans up the debt. He brings them credibility right away. They can start spending money right away.
Yep.
You're not distracted with trying to develop Bullet's point. Like, he can do that on the side. I mean, that he is the obvious choice to own the team. Now, the question is, are these owners? Look, I think at the end of the day, the owners are going to, the owners are the owners, and they're gonna throw their tantrums, and they're gonna say, well, this and that. At the end of the day, he's getting 23 votes. He's getting 23 votes, and the team is. I think this is just a Hail Mary by A-Rod and J-Lo to see if
Yeah, I think at the end of the day he ends up in it.
Yeah, 100%.
But it was worth noting, I want to still see Steve Cohen as the owner.
Yeah,
because he's got the money to do it, and he's got the passion, because he's a lifelong Mets fan. So let's get these Wilpons out of there as quickly as possible, please, and hopefully the Mets can play some 600 ball the rest of the way and possibly make the playoffs. Our crosstown rivals over there, and in the Bronx. They've sputtered a little bit. I'll let you talk about your team, though.
The Yankees are falling apart. I mean, Gary Sanchez can't hit. He's become a head case. Everybody's injured. I mean, Brian Cashman had a team meeting today saying they're more capable. There's more. They're obviously capable of more. I mean, when it rains, it pours. It's been one thing after the other. And I mean, at this point, you just pray to God that they're able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, they got beat up by Baltimore. They're getting beat up by the Rays. I mean, this team looks like they just have no life in them, man. They have no life.
I think they got like a very generous schedule for the last couple of weeks, though.
Yeah, but they just look like they have no life. And I don't know what you do. I mean, Gary Sanchez, ever since he came up, what was it, in 16 he came up and he had that streak where he hit a bunch of bombs, but I feel like we've been just waiting for him to break out and have like a consistent season. Maybe he had it in 17, but 18 and 19, he just hasn't had that sort of like those seasons. And, at some point you got to say, all right, when is this going to happen? Because he's eventually going to want a contract too. So we have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, they got to get their stuff together back there, out there in the Bronx, or it's going to be one big disappointment. I mean, I said it on the show, when we first started, I picked them to win the World Series. But Stanton can't stay healthy. Judge keeps getting hurt. Torres got hurt. I mean, so we'll wait and see. But next couple of weeks is going to be interesting to see how this plays out and see if Boone can somehow turn around the ship, man. Because right now it's not looking good. They're taking on water, and that ship is sinking. So
yeah, they said that the last few games, like the best team in New York is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah,
saying they're playing in Buffalo right now.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. But Thursday, we don't have time for the Fantasy Five because we're already hour and a half.
Yeah.
But nobody should need help right now because it's a day before the game, so everyone should have drafted already. So football kickoff. We will be live casting, the Chiefs-Texans game. We'll be on at 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. We'll catch you around the end of the first quarter there, and we'll watch the game right along with you. We're gonna have another great guest on, and talk some more sports. And please, tweet out, and we'll send you out the link. Whoever tweets out and hashtags, we're gonna send you out the link to the weekly pick'em.
Yep. And with that, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for viewing. Thanks again to our guest, Darrell Taylor, Director of Youth Football at the Cleveland Browns. And again, thanks to all of you for watching tonight. We will see you Thursday night, live, 9 p.m., YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Fan Experience Podcast. Peace.
Have a good night, everybody.